There will come a moment quiet, unexpected, when your entire life hangs on a single decision. Not a battle outside you, but a storm erupting inside you. Your anger will rise. Your fear will whisper. Your impulses will demand control. And in that split second, your destiny will choose a side. Some people break, some people bend, but a rare few become immovable because they obey a force stronger than emotion, a force colder, sharper, and carved from ancient wisdom, disciplina. If you learn to command it, you will walk through chaos untouched, and the world will never be able to shake you again. There is a type of moment that rewrites a person silently, without warning, without mercy. It arrives the way a storm does, first as a whisper, then as a pressure in the air, then as a force strong enough to snap everything weak inside you. Most people never see it coming. Most people never prepare for it. And that is why most people lose themselves long before they realize they're in a battle. But you are standing at the entrance of that moment now. It begins with something simple, a message, a disappointment, a betrayal, a sudden surge of anger, a rush of insecurity, a wave of doubt. One emotion sharp enough to destabilize your entire inner world. You feel it rising like heat climbing up your spine. Your breath tightens. Your thoughts scatter. Your heart races. And for a few dangerous seconds, you are standing on the edge of losing your own mind. This is the place where great men fall. This is the place where weak men collapse. And this is also the place where a rare kind of person, someone who refuses to kneel to their own emotions, awakens. You can hear the first voice inside you, the primal one. It screams to react, to defend, to snap, to punish, to run, to surrender to impulse. This voice is ancient, older than your logic, older than your values. It is the animal in you. But then something else stirs, a colder presence hidden beneath the noise. A stillness, a command, a whisper that does not rise with emotion but cuts through it. Wait, watch, don't move yet. This is the first rule of Stoic mastery. The first emotion belongs to the body. The second response belongs to the mind. The third choice belongs to the soul. Most people never make it past the first. You are here to learn how. You take a breath, not deep, not forced, just enough to remind yourself that you are not the storm, you are the one standing in it. The corridor around you seems darker now, the shadows longer, as if mirroring the doubts in your head. Your heart still pounds, but you do not run from it. You watch it, calmly, as a master watches a wild animal. Emotion is not your enemy. Emotion is simply information, a messenger, a signal, a force to be understood, not obeyed. The Stoics believe that the world has only two kinds of power: the power over your mind and the power the world has over everything else. Most people focus on the second. You are here to learn the first. Another surge of feeling rises stronger this time. A memory, a fear, a voice telling you that something is slipping out of your control. But here is the secret. Control was never the goal. Command was. Control is fragile. Command is internal. Control breaks under pressure. Command sharpens under pressure. You feel the emotion again, but this time you do not chase it. You do not judge it. You do not fight it. You simply hold it in your mental hand, the way a warrior examines a blade before using it. Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it insecurity? Is it desire disguised as urgency? You name it. And in naming it, you disarm it. Naming an emotion turns a storm into a shape. And what has shape can be mastered. Your breathing steadies. The shadows around you no longer feel threatening. They feel like witnesses. Your heartbeat slows, not because the storm is gone, but because you have become larger than it. This is the doorway. This is the initiation. This is the moment where discipline steps forward and emotion steps back. You realize something profound, something that the world's greatest thinkers, rulers, and leaders discovered in their own dark corridors. You do not rise to the level of your emotions. You rise to the level of your discipline. Emotion wants you to react. Discipline demands that you choose. Emotion wants immediacy. Discipline demands intention. Emotion wants comfort. Discipline demands clarity. You are beginning to understand the ancient truth. Emotion is loud, discipline is silent, but it is the silent voice that decides your destiny. Another wave of feeling washes over you this time. You welcome it. Let it come. Let it burn. Let it shake you. Because now you know you are not here to be rescued from the storm. You are here to learn how to walk through it without bending. And as you take your next step into the corridor, something subtle shifts. The shadows no longer move on their own. Your mind does. You whisper the command that will reshape your life. I act from principle, not emotion. And for the first time, you feel the power of that truth settling into your bones. The first battle of life does not happen in the world. It happens before you step into it. It begins the moment you wake, when your spirit lies undefended and your mind has not yet put on its armor. Most people never notice this moment. They rush past it, letting emotion seize control before consciousness even fully returns. But a Stoic, a disciplined mind, a person carved by intention rather than impulse, they understand that the day is won or lost in the first 5 minutes of awareness. And today, you are that person. You feel the weight of the world pressing on your chest the instant your eyes open. No loud alarm, no dramatic moment, just a quiet heaviness. The kind that whispers, stay down, not today. Let the emotions lead you. Here begins your test. For the first time, you become aware of the invisible tug of war inside your chest, a gentle pull toward weakness and a sharper, colder pull toward discipline. Emotion wakes first. It always does. It arrives like fog, shapeless, creeping, blurring your clarity. But discipline wakes slowly, like a giant opening its eyes. The average man obeys the fog. You are here to obey the giant. You sit up slowly. Your mind still feels heavy, your thoughts still tangled. This is not failure. This is the battlefield revealing itself. The Stoics taught that the first battle every morning is against internal resistance. Not the world, not other people, not circumstances, yourself. The mind you must command is not yet disciplined. It is loud, chaotic, eager to react, eager to run toward comfort, eager to hand your destiny over to whatever emotion happens to arrive first. You feel a flicker of doubt, a wave of irritation, a shadow of anxiety. This right here is the moment where the weak give up control. But instead of reacting, you do something incredibly rare. You observe. You sit inside your mind like someone sitting in a quiet theater, watching the thoughts appear on a screen. You do not chase them. You do not judge them. You simply watch. Emotion speaks first. This is too much. You don't have the strength. Just follow how you feel. But then discipline rises slow, steady, unshakable. It does not shout. It does not panic. It simply stands, like a massive gate closing against the storm. And for a moment, both forces collide. Émotion demande urgency. Discipline demande patience. Emotion wants release. Discipline wants reason. Emotion is loud. Discipline is certain. This is your first battle. A battle without witnesses, without applause, without reward. Yet it is the battle that defines everything else in your life. You take a breath, slow and deliberate, not to calm the chaos, but to center yourself inside it. You realize a profound truth. Discipline is not the removal of emotion. It is the refusal to be ruled by it. Your chest tightens again. Another wave of feeling rises, this time frustration, then self-doubt, then a memory you wish you could erase. But this time you don't crumble. You don't bend. You don't obey the turbulence. You meet it with presence. You let the emotion rise, but you do not let it choose. That is mastery. That is command. That is the essence of Stoic power. Because the disciplined mind does not deny emotion. It directs it. You rise from the bed slowly. Each movement feels like pushing through invisible resistance. But every step is a declaration that you control the inner world, not the other way around. No dramatic speeches. No grand gestures. Just the quiet, steady assertion of will. You splash water on your face. Cold, pure, awakening. The shock cuts through the fog like a blade. For a brief second, everything inside you aligns. Your breath, your awareness, your intention. This is it. This is where the shift happens. Not because the emotion is gone, but because you stood firm in its presence. The Stoics called this the second mind, the place where clarity is born, the place where you begin to operate from principle, not impulse. And now, standing before the mirror, droplets of water clinging to your skin, you understand. You cannot control what you feel. You can only command what you do next. Emotion says, retreat. Discipline says, advance. Emotion says, avoid discomfort. Discipline says, face it. Emotion says, this is too hard. Discipline says, you are harder. You stand taller. Your breathing steadies. The internal fog starts to clear. Your day has not begun outside, but inside, a war has already been fought, and you did not let the enemy win. This is how mastery begins, not in victory, but in choosing not to surrender. There is a dangerous myth people believe, that once you choose discipline, the battle becomes easier. It does not. In fact, the moment you decide to govern your mind, the emotions inside you rise like a threatened beast. They do not retreat quietly. They strike back. And today, they come for you. You step into the world carrying the calm you built in the first battle of the morning. Your mind is clearer. Your breath is steadier. Your purpose feels anchored. But the world does not care about your inner clarity. It tests it. You hear a harsh word, a disrespectful tone, a disappointment you didn't expect, a delay you did not plan for. A small spark, insignificant to anyone watching, ignites something deep inside your chest. At first, it's just heat, then tension, then a rising pulse, and suddenly your entire nervous system tightens as if preparing for war. Emotion has returned, not as fog this time, but as fire. The Stoics warned about this moment. The test will revisit you until you greet it with mastery. And here it is. Your old patterns banging on the door you only recently learned how to close. You feel the flame of anger flicker behind your ribs. You feel the sting of irritation, sharp and sudden. You feel the impulse to react fast, careless, instinctive. Your mind whispers, say something, prove something, defend something. And for a split second, emotion claws at your discipline, trying to rip it out of your hands. This is the second battle. The battle the world triggers, not your own thoughts. Most people lose it because they confuse importance with immediacy. Emotion feels immediate, urgent, demanding action right now. But urgency is a trick, a trap, a doorway back to the person you refuse to be anymore. As the heat intensifies, you feel your jaw tighten. Your breathing shortens. Your thoughts accelerate. Everything in your body wants to erupt, to react, to retaliate, to satisfy the emotion demanding dominance. But something even stronger rises within you, awareness. You recognize the pattern. You recognize the triggers. You recognize the first battle returning in a new disguise. Your discipline, though silent, steps forward like a calm warrior. It speaks without raising its voice. Pause. Just that one word, simple, subtle, sovereign. And in that pause, your entire future shifts. You take one breath, just one, and that breath becomes the dividing line between the life ruled by impulse and the life ruled by intention. In that breath, you see the truth clearly. Emotion wants release. Discipline wants alignment. Émotion demande réaction. Discipline demande direction. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is eternal. You allow the anger to rise, not to rule you, but to reveal you. You examine the irritation without attaching yourself to it. You watch the frustration like a storm cloud drifting across the mind's sky. You do not fight it. You do not suppress it. You simply refuse to kneel to it. This is the power most men never experience, the power of inner distance. You feel the emotion, but you are not the emotion. You feel the heat, but you do not become the flame. And then something remarkable happens. The very emotion that tried to control you begins to weaken, not because it disappeared, but because you stopped feeding it with reaction. You choose silence instead of explosion. You choose observation instead of instinct. You choose command instead of chaos. This is how emotional mastery is built. not by never feeling, but by never surrendering. You respond slowly, intentionally, with clarity forged from stillness. Your voice is steady. Your decisions are precise. Your posture is grounded. And while others react, break, or escalate, you remain the calm center in a noisy world. This is when the world begins to notice, not because you shouted, but because you didn't. Not because you proved something, but because you didn't need to. Your power is quiet now, and quiet power is the strongest kind. As you walk away from the moment that once would have destroyed your peace, a realization settles inside you. Discipline is not winning against emotion. Discipline is winning against the version of you controlled by emotion. You survived the second battle. You didn't just endure the fire. You walked through it without burning. And as the noise of the world fades behind you, something ancient and noble awakens within your spirit. A warrior made not of rage, but of reason, not of impulse, but of intention. This is the path of Stoic mastery. This is the evolution of a disciplined mind. This is how you become someone emotion cannot overthrow. There is a moment in every person's life when everything collapses into a single second. A second where instinct screams louder than thought, and emotion becomes a tidal wave threatening to drown reason. This moment arrives without warning. You're moving through your day, focused, composed, grounded, and then without mercy, something hits you. A harsh message, a betrayal, a rejection, a mistake, a disappointment so sharp it feels like your chest tightens around your lungs. In an instant, your inner calm shatters. Emotion soars like lightning fast, reckless, electric. Your pulse spikes, your breath stalls. Your thoughts begin spinning so violently that you can no longer tell which feeling is real and which feeling is simply loud. This is the moment that destroys most people. They don't think. They react. They swing back. They over-explain. They lash out. They do the one thing guaranteed to make everything worse. They obey emotion. But you feel something else rising beneath the chaos. A thin thread of awareness, small but unbreakable. Your discipline reaches for that thread. And in the middle of emotional lightning, you pull yourself back. Not by force, not by suppression, but by recognition. You whisper internally the command that few ever learn to use in the heat of emotion. Pause and see. Everything inside you resists it. Your body wants to move. Your mind wants to respond. Your heart wants to explode. But your soul, your higher mind, your disciplined self holds the line. You take one slow inhale, and the chaos inside you freezes. In that breath, you realize something extraordinary. Emotion can strike in a millisecond, but mastery is born in the space you create after it hits. That space, that sacred gap between impulse and action, is the birthplace of power. You feel the anger, the hurt, the fear swirling like a storm, but for the first time in your life, they do not decide for you. You decide. You choose stillness instead of reaction. You choose clarity instead of chaos. You choose to act from who you want to be, not from what you feel in the moment. This is the split-second power the Stoics guarded with their lives. This is the strength that separates the wise from the impulsive. This is the inner weapon few ever learn to wield. You walk away from the moment not because you are weak, but because you refuse to give weakness control. The storm behind your ribs begins to loosen. Your breathing softens, your mind clears. And for the first time, you feel something incredible. Victory, not over another person, but over the part of yourself that once ruled you. Mastery is never born in comfort. It is forged in the quiet, heavy moments when the world slows, and you are forced to face the person you've always been and the person you're trying to become. Tonight, something is different. You sit alone, the day finally behind you, but the echoes of old emotions still stir under your skin. The anger from earlier, the frustration you thought you buried, the small wounds that never fully healed. Most people distract themselves in these moments. They reach for noise. They reach for escape. They reach for anything that allows them to avoid themselves. But you don't move. You stay. You let the silence pull you inward, because you've begun to understand a truth the Stoics protected with their lives. A disciplined mind is created in the darkness, not the light. As the rain drips slowly down the glass, you watch your thoughts with a strange new clarity. You see how quickly your mind tries to defend itself, blaming, explaining, justifying, escaping. But beneath all that noise, something deeper waits, a stillness you rarely touched before. For the first time, you stop trying to control how you feel. Instead, you try to understand it. Why did that comment get under your skin? Why did that moment ignite anger? Why did your chest tighten when things didn't go your way? These questions cut sharper than any blade. They expose the truth the ego hides. You aren't fighting the world. You're fighting wounds inside you that you never admitted were still open. And this is where the iron mind begins to form, not by suppressing emotion, but by confronting it with brutal honesty. You face your impatience. You face your pride. You face your fear of appearing weak. You face the moments from your past that taught you to react instead of reflect. This is painful work. It burns. It drains. It twists your insides in knots, but you do not run from it. Instead, you breathe into it. And in that breath, something shifts. You begin to see emotion not as an enemy, but as a messenger, a signal, a reflection of the battles you never resolved. This realization doesn't make the feeling vanish, but it makes you stronger than it. You finally hear the quiet truth beneath everything. You don't need to eliminate emotion. You need to outgrow the version of yourself controlled by it. A calm settles over your chest, not the fake calm of distraction, but the deep, grounded calm of understanding. The rain outside softens. The world grows quiet. Your breathing deepens, slow and steady. You realize you're not just learning discipline. You're becoming someone capable of standing in the middle of emotional fire and not losing yourself. You are shaping a mind that cannot be manipulated by anger, cannot be controlled by fear, cannot be thrown off by uncertainty. This is the iron mind. Clear, deliberate, immovable. You rise from your seat with a new weight in your steps, not heaviness, but gravity, a sense of presence that cannot be shaken. Because now you know, every emotion has something to say, but only discipline decides what you do. There is a moment in every person's life when the world falls silent, not because everything is peaceful, but because chaos becomes so loud that your mind can no longer process it. It is in this eerie, heavy silence that your true character is revealed. The Stoics believed that a person is not measured by how they act on good days, but by how they behave when the universe seems to be actively working against them. For most people, this moment arrives without warning. It could be a betrayal from someone you trusted with your life. It could be the loss of something you thought was permanent, a job, a relationship, a sense of security. Or it could be the sudden realization that you have been living beneath your potential for years, trapped in a cage built by your own emotions. When this moment strikes, emotions explode instantly. Panic races through your chest. Anger surges like wildfire. Fear tightens its grip around your throat. In these first few seconds, your mind becomes a battlefield where every impulse wants to drag you into darkness. You feel the urge to shout, to break something, to run away, to blame someone, to collapse. This is where most people lose themselves, not because the situation is impossible, but because their emotions take command faster than their discipline can intervene. But the Stoic understands something crucial. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your training. If you have spent your life reacting, you will react. If you have spent your life blaming, you will blame. If you have spent your life avoiding discomfort, you will drown in it. Discipline is not built in the moment of crisis. It is revealed there. Picture a man driving home late at night. He is exhausted, emotionally drained from a long day. Suddenly, another car swerves recklessly across the road and nearly hits him. Rage erupts inside him. His heart pounds. His vision narrows. Every emotion in his body demands one thing: react, yell, chase, prove dominance, express the anger. But he doesn't. He grips the steering wheel tighter, breathes in, holds it, lets it out slowly. He doesn't justify the other driver's behavior. He doesn't suppress his emotion. He observes it. He allows the anger to exist without letting it steer the wheel. In that moment, he wins. Not over the other driver, but over himself. This is Stoic mastery. Because the truth is, emotional reactions often create problems bigger than the situation itself. The Stoic doesn't avoid emotion. He simply refuses to be ruled by it. Now imagine a woman preparing for the most important interview of her life. She walks into the building, and her stomach drops. Someone else sits in the lobby, confident, charismatic, clearly more experienced. Fear whispers in her ear, "You're not good enough. You'll fail. You should walk away." The temptation to retreat becomes overwhelming. Emotion demands surrender, but she remembers the truth. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is moving forward despite it. She sits down, straightens her back, controls her breath, refocuses her mind on what she can control. By the time her name is called, her fear is still present, but it no longer leads her. She leads it. This is the essence of discipline. You don't eliminate emotion. You outgrow it. The Stoics trained for this in everyday life. Marcus Aurelius wrote reminders to himself because he knew how easy it was to fall into emotional traps. Epictetus told his students that every moment is a test, not of intelligence, strength, or luck, but of character. And this chapter, right now, is your reminder. There will come a moment, maybe soon, when life will demand to know who you really are, not who you post online, not who you pretend to be, not who you wish you were, but the raw, unfiltered version of you, the one who shows up when everything goes wrong. When that moment arrives, you must choose. Will you be a creature of impulse or a commander of discipline? Because emotions are loud, impatient, and temporary. But discipline is quiet, steady, and eternal. It will save you from reckless decisions. It will protect your future. It will turn storms into stepping stones. The people who master emotion gain comfort, but the people who master discipline gain power. And in the silence of your defining moment, the world will see which one you chose. There comes a point in every journey where all your training, all your preparation, all the quiet victories over emotion are tested in ways no one else sees. This is the edge of unseen strength. You have learned to pause. You have learned to observe. You have learned to step through anger, fear, and frustration without surrendering to them. But now life will demand more than calm. It will demand action. And action under pressure reveals the truth about discipline. Not in the classroom, not in meditation, not in quiet reflection, but when the world demands a response faster than your emotions can rise. Picture yourself facing a challenge that seems insurmountable. A project on the brink of collapse, a relationship fraying, a health crisis, a financial storm. You feel the familiar surge of panic and doubt, the exact emotions you have trained to master. The first instinct is to flee, to blame, to lash out, to escape. Every instinct screams. React now, react fast, react without thought. And yet, you remember the first lessons. You remember the pause, the breath, the awareness, the inner command that has grown stronger with each battle. You inhale slowly, feeling the air fill your chest like iron being forged. You exhale and feel the tension unravel. You allow the emotions to exist, but you no longer let them dictate your next move. You are no longer a slave to impulses. This is where unseen strength emerges. Strength is not the absence of difficulty. It is the ability to move forward through difficulty with clarity and resolve. Strength is silent. It does not boast. It does not seek approval. It simply acts. You take the first step forward, deliberately. Every movement calculated, every decision measured. Your mind is not free from emotion. It is larger than emotion now. It commands it, it uses it, it channels the fire into focus. The world notices the result, but not the struggle behind it. Others see the calm, the decisiveness, the grace under pressure. They do not see the milliseconds where panic could have won. They do not see the countless internal battles fought in silence, the ones that built the iron core beneath your skin. In this moment, you understand a profound truth. The battles no one sees are the ones that define you. Every challenge you overcome internally becomes fuel for your external victories. Every storm weathered inside prepares you for storms outside. Every emotion faced without surrender strengthens your mind, sharpens your judgment, and expands your capacity to endure. And as you stand on the edge, literal or metaphorical, with the wind tearing at you, the stakes impossibly high, and the consequences unforgiving, you feel a quiet satisfaction. Not pride, not arrogance. Satisfaction. Because you know that whatever happens next, you are prepared. You are not led by fear. You are not led by anger. You are not led by uncertainty. You are led by principle. And principle, when embraced fully, becomes unstoppable. This is the essence of Stoic mastery. Unseen strength, cultivated in silence, revealed only when life demands it most. After every storm, after every battle against the relentless surge of emotion, comes the quiet. Not the quiet of escape, not the quiet of avoidance, but the quiet of mastery. You arrive here because you chose discipline, because you paused when your instincts screamed, because you observed rather than reacted, because you acted with principle instead of impulse. And now, in this calm, you begin to understand its true power. Calm is not weakness. Calm is not resignation. Calm is command. When your mind is still, your perception sharpens. You see solutions others cannot see. You hear truths others cannot hear. You sense opportunities hidden beneath the noise of panic. And you act with precision, not haste. This is what separates those who merely survive from those who thrive. Those who allow emotion to dictate life are tossed around like leaves in a storm. Those who embrace calm become the storm itself, measured, intentional, unstoppable. Even in chaos, the disciplined mind moves with clarity. It does not flinch at criticism, nor does it stumble at challenge. The storms rage outside, but inside you are anchored. You are grounded in principle, in purpose, in awareness. Every decision you make in this calm carries weight. Every word you speak, every action you take is amplified by the quiet confidence that emotion cannot shake you. You begin to realize the most powerful victories are not the ones seen by the world. They are the victories within. And this calm is not passive, it is active. It shapes reality. It commands outcomes. It guides choices. The Stoics called it ataraxia, unshakable serenity. But serenity alone is not enough. This calm must be paired with unwavering discipline, or it is merely a temporary refuge. True mastery arises when stillness and action are inseparable, when your mind can both rest and execute with absolute precision. You breathe in deeply, feeling the energy of the world pulse around you. The wind brushes your face, but it no longer rattles your resolve. The noise of life continues, but it does not pierce your awareness. You are present, fully, sharply, calmly. In this moment, the final piece of understanding settles into place. Discipline is your shield. Emotion is your compass. Calm is your weapon. With these three aligned, you become a force no circumstance can derail. You have learned not just to survive the inner storms, but to harness them. Not just to resist distraction, but to transform it into clarity.